Hey everyone, welcome back to our Spotlight series where we get to meet the incredible people behind the Nepal-US AI Hackathon and what drives them to support the community. That said, super excited because we have one of our mentors, Anish Joshi, the head of technology at Fusemachines, joining us today. So Anish Dai, thank you so much for doing this.
Welcome. I'm really excited about it.
Okay, so let's dive right into it. Anish, शुरू बारे start करो मैं.
ये भी सब
Can you share a little bit about your journey? For example, कहाँबाट चाहिँ सुरु भएको थियो?
Mhm.
अनि how did
So,
you end up where you are today?
going back, way back into the time, basically I got fond of computers and softwares just because of gaming. Like when I was in school, I was looking at the computers, you can play all kind of games, like cool games, like FIFA, like all kind of Call of Duty, like those
Okay.
They're listening always. I was found like how you can build softwares, how you can build games. I know like you're a machine where you can do all kind of stuff. And that's what excited me to actually pursue my career in computer. And then courses I found a course called Bachelor of Information Management. मैले अनि त्यहाँतिर computer science computer पढाउँछ भनेर अनि I joined the course. I was really excited. अगाडिदेखि नै अलि राम्रै पढेको थिएँ मेहनत गर्दै always excited to learn more, asking a lot of questions to the teachers and like whoever is possible seniors होइन
Okay.
throughout the thing like almost like fourth semester पुग्दाखेरि like me and some of my friend we built a school management system होइन अनि then we sold that school management system to the college like we were studying अनि त्यो पछि चाहिँ after like few months, our CEO Samir Maske came to our college to give a talk about AI, and the artificial intelligence को बारेमा उहाँले त्यो talk दिँदाखेरि चाहिँ I was really fond of like what AI is, how AI was evolving at the time. It was probably around 2010-11 तिर, होइन. He was working at a IBM Watson team as a research scientist, and he was talking about what research he was doing, and we were really excited. And this month we asked a lot of questions, and at the end of the talk, he said like, hey, I'm setting up fuse machines in Nepal, and he said here are the three questions. Whoever can solve it, like I'll probably hire those person one. He sort of like gave like questions. And there were about 150 people, and me and the couple guys who were building the software for the college, we actually solved those three questions and gave it to him. And then that's how we came to connect with Samir Maske, our CEO, and then we joined like Fuse Machines as an early engineering team.
Wow.
We were there about like the engineering team was just about three people in 2011. It was before Fuse Machines. It wasn't called Fuse Machines back then, but we were doing all kind of research in AI at that time. And then we sort of like built a first product, and then we registered Fuse Machines Inc. in New York on 2013. And since then, like I've been with Fuse Machines Inc. So basically, from 2013 to 2017, we were building all kind of AI application, AI chatbot, AI-based sales applications. We sold to all kind of companies. From Journey itself, we built a lot of like enterprise grade AI application even before the AI hype. And at that time, like there
Wow.
were a different kind of stuff that we were doing. I was very instrumental within Fuse to grow the team from three people to about 100 people by 2017. And at 2017, we saw like there is a huge gap in US itself, like as we were growing really fast, like leadership side map plus team side map. We need someone at US because like we were growing exponentially in US one. I came to US in 2017 and been in US since then, like helping company grow, clients, build all kind of complex AI application, not just building it, right? Like a lot of time AI भन्ने बित्तिकै like people thinks like, train गरे model build गरे, but a lot of problem is actually productionizing it extremely hard. You have to monitor how the model is performing. You
Hmm.
have to make sure like it scales really fast. When you are using in production, it needs to respond really fast. And so the software optimization and त्यो गर्न चाहिँ एकदमै complex, and that's where like Fuse Machines and I try to help other companies to actually do all kind of stuff mainly related with scaling and developing AI, complex AI applications.
Anish Dai, तपाईँको journey is very inspiring, especially the part हजुरले भन्नुभयो नि like yeah, 3 जनाको टिमबाट now it's like a 300 plus को team,
Yeah.
right? So what was it like when you guys started it, तीनजनाको टिममा, अनि now scaling it to like a 300 plus को team, like what does that look like?
So one of the things that I figured while growing the company is, and like being coming from a tech, right? Like scaling software is a lot more easier than people. And like it's more about the culture, like when you are a 3 people company or like a 5 people company versus 35 people and 100 and then 300, company evolves, culture evolves, and that's what you need to be ready for. Like it's not like software scaling is a lot more easier. You add a lot more servers, you architect it properly, it auto scales. Like oil zamana with cloud, it's a lot more easier. But scaling companies, the hardest thing is to scale the culture, the mission vision throughout from top to the bottom, having the same kind of mission vision idea, like like throughout the company disseminated गर्न चाहिँ एकदमै गाह्रो छ. And that's where like we have to spend a lot of time around like when we are scaling, like to grow the company.
And त्यो चाहिँ like how does it look like, like actually scaling in a really good way in terms of a bad way के यो कल्चरहरूको कुरा गर्दाखेरि?
I think like a lot of things like is a trial and mistake and figuring out what's going to work for your company, right? Like initially you need to have some sort of vision around where your company want, what kind of a culture you want to set up within the company. And based on that you sort of like build sort of like a bit of a narrative. One thing that we did was, at Fuse, our major focus has always been like, we want to foster not just a company, like a community of like very pro learning, like experience sharing and teaching. That's why we launched AI fellowship as well, not within just a company, outside like company as well. We train people in Nepal and outside Nepal, mainly on underserved communities, where we train engineers in artificial intelligence for free. And based on that, like we fostered throughout the company itself very learning, pro learning, experience sharing, एकअर्कालाई mentor गर्ने, to help them grow throughout the career as well. And that's where like the culture, the major culture चाहिँ त्यतातिर छ भने, besides that you have to make it fun as well. Like if when you are working, if it's very monotonous, it's gonna be like not very productive. People will have like all kind of issues like leave, right, and cultural clash, all those kind of stuff. And one of the issues we had was like bit of a like a cultural differences as well, like because part of the company we are is a US company, and part of the culture is from Nepal, so there were a lot of like disconnect as well, which we have to train US folks as well how Nepal works, and Nepal folks as well what US expects, right, and all those kind of clarity are make them important too. And that's how sort of like we have to bake in innovative ideas. Like we have a team called creative communication team, which was just focusing on how do we creatively bring everyone together and be as a team, be as a company, and enjoy like working, learning, and all those kind of stuff, what we do at the company.
Wow, that is really, really interesting. You, especially because there's not a lot of companies in this scale. That's in Nepal पनि अनि US मा पनि छ. I never even thought about कि यो culturally पनि अब integrate गर्न, that's a whole different issue, right? So
Yeah.
switching gears, clearly अब हजुरले start गर्ने बेलामा र अहिले is going to be very different in terms of what your role looks like, right? So अहिले it's like currently, like what does your role look like as the head of technology?
Right now, I focus on a lot on the business and the strategy side of things. Besides that, like I'm always excited about learning new technologies and solving complex business problems. So most of the time चाहिँ मेरो चाहिँ हुन्छ नि product engineering साइडमा चाहिँ the product that we are building त्यो चाहिँ कुन स्केलमा भइरहेछ, architecturally and technologically is it aligning with like our business plans, our vision, त्योसँग align छ कि छैन भन्ने भइरहेको हुन्छ नि. कति साइडमा चाहिँ customer साइडमा चाहिँ what the problem, what customer are asking त्यो पनि बुझेर like I sort of like be a liaison between like tech as well as like business side. And most of the time चाहिँ मेरो चाहिँ त्यही काममै बिजी हुन्छ. One, understanding like what's possible in tech, and another side is like understanding what the business is asking. A lot of time when businesses ask, that might not be possible from tech side of things भने, some kind of thing it's possible, but it's financially it doesn't make sense, right? And those are the places like where I have to come in and figure out, what's going to be the right approach for the business to meet their goal as well, and technology it's possible as well, because like you can build all kind of stuff, but for a business, like how much investment they want to make an investment and what kind of ROI they're gonna get out of it. It's gonna
Mhm.
be the crucial factor in deciding to go with AI. A lot of time, like building software, it's a lot more easier, but with AI, like it's a lot of time it's very unknown. It's very like research driven. Like it's very you know uh, experiment driven. So a lot of time, like, you will fail a lot before you actually reach where you want to reach, right? And that's where like we have to figure out what's going to be the right approach. त्यहाँतिर चाहिँ मेरो धेरै जस्तो टाइम चाहिँ स्पेन्ड हुन्छ.
Wow, that is amazing. So भनेको अहिलेको रोलमा चाहिँ तपाईँको it's not just the technology side, so the technology and the business side, and you kind of like play around with that. तर हजुर, you know how you said with AI it's research based and like so many different factors त्यसमा जान्छ भनेर. So looking back, because हजुरको त even when AI was like a mainstream, you guys are already working on AI, right? So looking back, what are some lessons you've learned, especially I guess to AI को scene मा from then to now?
Mhm. So I think like a lot of time मैले एउटा भेटाएको नि कति चिज चाहिँ एआई सर्टेन टाइम चाहिँ ओभर हाइप पनि हुन्छ होइन. So you have to understand what's going to work, right? A lot of time like अब बिजनेस यो कति चिजले चाहिँ सर्टेन चिजहरूमा चाहिँ ओभर हाइप पनि हुन्छ एउटा चिज चाहिँ, अनि अर्को चिज चाहिँ
Ani, before you even say that, when you said overhype, like overhype भन्नाले चाहिँ कस्तो खालीले overhyped?
ओभर हाइप भन्नाले अब एआईले सबै प्रब्लम सल्भ गर्छ, मेरो बिजनेस रन गरिदिन्छ, कतिजनाको एक्सपेक्टेसन चाहिँ त्यहाँबाट नै आइरहेको हुन्छ कि लाइक लाइक हुन्छ नि अब हाम्रो पनि कति कस्टमरहरूसँग त्यो हुँदाखेरि अब लाइक इट्स फेयरली गुड फेयरली asked to think like a lot of things like ChatGPT and everything has done a lot of stuff होइन. तर that doesn't necessarily mean like whole business नै रन हुन्छ भन्ने त छैन, तर a lot of portion has been automated recently होइन.
Mhm.
एउटा त्यो साइडमा भयो भन्दाखेरि अर्को चाहिँ थ्रु आउट द थिङ चाहिँ द्याट आई हेभ लर्न्ड इज लाइक यु अलवेज हेभ टु किप learning what's going on. It's software development is not about just developing software, but it's about developing yourself as well. How the market, because tech moves really fast, extremely fast. You have to always be looking for what's going on the market. You have to understand, like as a business leader, you have to understand and tech leader, you have to understand where the market is going. Not just right now, next year चाहिँ कहाँ जाँदैछ भन्ने पनि anticipate गरेर चाहिँ you have to figure out like how do we approach those kind of stuff, and also look at like all kind of news. Keep your eye open on in terms of what innovative companies are doing, and figuring out like how those things will align for our business and for customers business as well. That's what I always keep my eyes open to learn more about.
Wow, and you अलिकति कुरा गरौँ अनि त्यसपछि then we can probably transition to the hackathon. So
Sure.
for someone that's watching, and especially हाम्रो, I think most of the viewers are going to be 80% students, right?
Mhm.
For them to be eventually a head of technology like you, any advice that you'd give them?
अब एक्ज्याक्टली लाइक यस्तै भन्ने त छैन होइन. लाइक द one thing that I've worked for me is like I've never stopped learning, and I'm a believer, it's like a lifelong learning भन्ने नै believer हो होइन. अनि just keep on continuing learning. Don't think about what's gonna be the outcome होइन. Any knowledge is good. So टेकमा चाहिँ at least like try to be in front of like what's coming होइन. टेक वाइज के भइरहेछ, बी अप टु डेट विथ द मार्केट एन्ड ट्राई टु लर्न न्यू थिङ्स अल द टाइम. Mainly with tech, not just tech, interpersonal skills, all kind of everything will be helpful around, like building the career. So just don't be shy of learning, like if you feel like, uh, if something is coming to be a boring, try to find something which excites you and try to learn new things. These slides.
Wow. Now let's flip the script. So what made you say yes to being one of the mentors for the Nepal-US AI Hackathon, honestly?
So one first, like coming from Nepal and reaching here, throughout my journey, a lot of like teachers, mentors, like I have a lot of like bosses as well in between, right? I've learned a lot from them. And one thing that I really want to focus on is like to be keen on giving back to other folks, in terms of how to learn new things, and also like, understand where the market is, and like, understand how to not just take it from the engineering perspective, but engineering and business perspective बाट पनि कसरी चाहिँ overall like सोच्न सकिन्छ. And plus टेक्नोलोजिकल अप्रोचहरू पनि वाट्स गन मेक सेन्स राइट त्यो साइडमा चाहिँ आई अलवेज आइ एम किन टु टिच अदर पिपल लाइक हाउ आई थिङ्क राइट इट अलवेज माइट नट बी द राइट थिङ टु डु बट लाइक म चाहिँ आफूले सिकेको चिज चाहिँ आई अलवेज वान्टेड टु सेयर अनि त्यसमै प्लस बिसाइड्स द्याट आइ एम अलवेज लाइक किन अन लुकिङ एट लाइक इनोभेटिभ आइडियाज people taking creative approach, and that's what like hackathon is all about, and that's what excites me, and that's why I wanted to involve in this hackathon, right? And also to be the part of the journey where people feel empowered and supported each and every way of the hackathon as well. And besides that as well, like if anybody wants to reach out to me later and as well, like if for their career advice or anything, I'm more than open to provide that. But besides that, throughout the hackathon is more about like looking at the creative idea, innovative idea, and like problem solving skills and those kind of stuff.
Honestly, we're super blessed to have you as one of the mentors, especially with your background. तर हजुरले यो creative ideas को पनि कुरा गर्नुभयो नि त. So I think this is a good segue. Like, so when you say creative ideas from the participants, what are you the most excited to see from them? Your creative ideas भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ kind of
One
projects.
things like one of the things that I always look for is like mainly on the creative ideas, like besides the tech solving business problems, I always look for people using AI solving human problems, human issues, like local issues. Like, AI, we can leverage AI to solve a lot of like problems, like for in Nepal, right? Like एकदम local level problems, or you don't have to come from Google or Microsoft to solve those kind of problem in Nepal. People in Nepal can solve, using technology, a lot of problems in Nepal as well. And that's what we have seen, like a lot of people making a lot of change in Nepal. And that's those kind of creative, right? Like it can be copied from somewhere else as well, but like to map it to the local context and to solve human and business problem is like where I would want to see like creative approaches. Maybe not from the hackathon, might only expect that's what I look in overall approach, my creative approach.
When we were doing this with other mentors, I joke I think, what if like a unicorn pops up?
I
What if
think
another fuse machine comes around?
definitely like it's very much possible.
So talking about the hackathon, you
Mhm.
our participants, man, what's so amazing is there's even a seventh grader participating.
Oh wow.
Vanali abo, which is amazing because even when you're so young, like you're getting very involved.
Mhm.
And not just that, so like, there's gonna be a lot of um, first time hackers as well. So,
Wow.
हरूको लागि चाहिँ, any advice or like one or a couple pieces of advice that you have coming into the hackathon?
Yeah, I think like I would say come with an open mind to learn, right? Like, it's not about, coming up. I think it's more about learning attitude, see what's going on, because a lot of times you will learn a lot of from the other people than like from like blogs and all the stuff, right? And hackathon is a place like where everybody comes and shares their ideas and approaches, and it's not just from the tech side of things. Like you will also gain like interpersonal skills, like how to deal with issues collaboratively as a team, कसरी काम गर्ने, right? All those kind of stuff can be a very very helpful overall longer period of time for your career, right? And maybe sometimes I think that's what people should come at a hackathon, not just about winning hackathon, but like learning. And I think like everybody is a winner, right? Like over here, and like everybody is learning something. Everybody is like will be doing something. So I think that's what's gonna be the overall suggestions.
अब हजुरले त you have like real world experience where you've taken like a startup to like a 300 plus co company.
Mhm.
यो टाइममा चाहिँ like if the hackers were to हुन्छ नि whoever is participating, the roadmap चाहिँ like how should they focus on like going from idea to like a
I
prototype?
think in terms of hackathon, whenever you have an idea, you have to see what's possible and like and try to you know I think it's more about the collaboration and trying to come up with a solution. It's the problem is a lot of times, yeah, I mean, saying what we do is like we go do a small whiteboarding session where we do a brainstorming, a little mind mapping as well, like problem identify गरेर what can be the solutions, right? And the solution सब map out गरेर चाहिँ we sort of come up with like this is the piece is gonna be like कुन चाहिँ prioritize गरे, and we sort of like गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामी चाहिँ एउटा चाहिँ इन्टरनली हामी कम्पनीमा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यस्तो प्रडक्टहरू बिल्ड गर्छ, हामी चाहिँ एउटा चाहिँ के गर्छौँ भने डिजाइन थिङ्किङ एक्सर्साइज एन्ड डिजाइन स्प्रिन्ट भनेर गर्छौँ कि
यो
वेयर लाइक लाइक वी टेक अ सिट अफ पेपर अनि त्यसमा चाहिँ वाट वी डु एज अ टिम इज लाइक अ क्रेजी एट भन्छौँ क्रेजी एट भनेको चाहिँ आठवटा पेपरलाई फोल्ड गरेर एट स्क्रिन जस्तो निकाल्छ एन्ड वी ड्र लाइक वाट द आइडिया इज राइट
वाव
एन्ड देन लाइक वी प्रेजेन्ट टु इच अदर एन्ड लाइक सोर्ट अफ लाइक vote whose idea in which solution is like the best, and that's how we sort of like a lot of time that's how we narrow down like how we're going to solve the problem, right? And maybe one of the solutions that can be that like you do sort of like a brainstorming, a mind mapping, and collaborating and figure out like which solution is going to be the best, and based on that you start working coding, and divide the work, and like how you're gonna divide the work, that's gonna also gonna be very important based on your strength, based on your weaknesses. Like you should collaborate and build a team, and based on that how you should go about मलाई चाहिँ त्यस्तो लाग्छ.
Wow, the design thinking wala is actually such a smart idea. किन भन्दाखेरि instead of like आफ्नै आइडिया मात्र पुश गर्ने भन्दा सबैको सुन्यो अनि
Yeah,
त्यहाँबाट to vote the best idea. Okay. Wow. Well, Anish Dai, thank you so much for doing this. This was amazing. We are super blessed to have you as one of the mentors. अघि नै भने जस्तै होइन. अब चाहिँ for the participants that's watching, I hope these spotlight series inspire you a little bit more and gets you ready to go for the hackathon. So that said, Anish Dai, any final words?
all the best, looking forward to seeing all the innovative ideas.